Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I thought I'd do something a little different today. This is the second video in our Black Powder for Beginners series, and we're going to look at something that everybody needs if you're going to get into black powder, and that's a draw tube. Now, I just ordered this up from Buffalo Arms, and I got to tell you that any day when a package shows up in my house with Dave Gullo's return address on there, that's a good day. So we'll go ahead and unbox this thing right now and set it up so you guys can see exactly how it goes together. And basically it's pretty simple, but like I said, everybody needs one of these, and the reason that we all need a drop tube to load and shoot black powder is because all of our black powder charges are always compressed. There is no time when you're loading black powder that you will end up with a load where there's an air space in there. Like it's common with smokeless to have an air gap in the case, but in black powder, that's bad news. That can destroy your rifle. So with that being said, when you open the box, you'll have a base. Here's my invoice, looking good. And then there's this tube, and that will contain our drop tube. So, pretty simple operation. You just get that tape off of there. Come on. And our tube comes out. So we've got the brass tube, and there's a rubber O-ring on here. Do not lose that O-ring. And basically it's going to go together like this. And then we have an empty cartridge case here with a spent primer in it that I put back in so I could show you guys this. What you want to do is set your drop tube so that the tube goes down into the case mouth, and you want it to be in there, I guess, about 1/8 of an inch. Not all that far, in other words, but it does have to be below the level of the mouth. So we're going to fool around with this little rubber O-ring until we get it just right. Now, what we don't want is to have the tube above the case mouth to where it can slide like that. We want it down in there a little bit, and that's how it sits. And when you pour powder, you're going to trickle it into this tube right here real slow. You want it to take about 8 seconds to 10 seconds to dump a full load of powder down the tube into your case. So see this? We'll have that tube sitting down in there just about that much. And you can easily adjust it with the rubber O-ring here, up or down. That's what you're looking for right there. So that just fits down right inside there. Alright, so I got this drop tube from Buffalo Arms. They're the closest thing we have to a one-stop shop as far as it goes for black powder cartridge rifles. There are a few other outfits that sell to black powder shooters, but I think a lot of them target muzzle loaders, and none of them I've seen have anywhere near the selection that Buffalo Arms has. So with that being said, let's head back inside to the bench, and we'll throw a few powder charges with this, and we'll see exactly why everyone needs a drop tube. Alright, so we need to get our powder measure set. Bring up the app. Scan, connect, come on. What I'm going to drill up here is 88 grains of Swiss 2F powder. Now this load in a 4590 with a 540 grain money bullet is a well-known load. It's been one of the go-to loads for a long time. And if we tried to load this load just like we were loading smokeless, come on, come on. This thing tries to get it perfect every time. So, we stopped 0.02 grains short. So, if I just take and dump this powder like I was loading a smokeless load into the case, and I take it off, you see that? The case is absolutely full to the brim, and a bunch of powder just spilled out on this piece of paper. Because 88 grains doesn't actually fit inside the Starline case. And a lot of the black powder cartridges are very similar that way. It's hard to get 70 grains of powder into a 4570 case, right? So what we do is we use a drop tube. And now we're going to put our case there and stick this back over there. We've got another powder charge coming here. We're going to run this through our drop tube. Now this should take about 8 to 10 seconds on the pour, so you don't really want to dump it too fast. And the powder will accelerate as it goes down the drop tube and then compress, right? So there we go. There's the last of our powder. Get another charge. We pull our drop tube back, and there's our same 87.98 grains of powder. And you can see it's compressed down into the top of this case a solid 1/8 of an inch. That's the reason we use a drop tube, is because we can fit the powder into the case, and this drop tube is the first stage of our powder compression. I told you all loads are going to be compressed, right? The next thing we would do is to seat a Walters wad on here, which that's what this is, a fiber wad on top of the case, and it would get run into a compression die, which looks like this here, and this will compress the powder down to my set depth that I have on my workup sheet, to where I seat the bullet exactly so that the top of the ogive of the bullet barely engraves into the lands of the rifling. So this all works together, but in a nutshell, that's drop tubing, and that's why we use it. So I hope this helps you understand drop tubing and why everybody needs one to shoot black powder. Next time we're going to be taking a look at expansion dies and compression dies, two of the things that you're going to need to add to your die set in order to load and shoot black powder successfully. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on Facebook, and we will see you next time on Recoil Therapy.